Welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another interesting video on the channel, primarily relating to the next major upcoming AAA Marvel superhero game, none other than Guardians of the Galaxy. However, this is going to be another laid-back discussion pertaining to the game, considering that there is some rather interesting information that has recently been unveiled for it that does shed a little bit more light on the entire game as a whole, and actually iterating exactly what type of genre the game would have been if the developers carried through with their original vision. Now, like we're all well aware of at this point, is that Guardians of the Galaxy is officially going to be a completely third-person, story-driven, single-player action-adventure game. But based on these recent reports, it doesn't necessarily seem like that was going to be the case when they first started development. And given all this essential information that was revealed for the game, I personally think that the developers over at Eidos Montreal and the publishers at Square Enix seriously avoided making a huge mistake that would have totally ruined the entire game. Now granted, we don't know exactly whether or not the final Guardians of the Galaxy game come launch in October is going to be any better or worse than what we previously experienced with Marvel's Avengers. But if the developers and publishers decided to go through with their original plan that they had for Guardians, this would have been a whole lot worse. So basically, this news does come from games journalist website WCCFtech.com, which we have actually used as a source in the past for previous videos, whether or not that relates to Marvel's Avengers or Marvel's Spider-Man, because they are pretty darn reliable when it does come to gaming news. And in their latest findings, they did actually discover a job position for a game director at Guerrilla Games known as Simon LaRouche. And if you're someone who's unaware, Guerrilla Games are the developers of the Killzone franchise, as well as Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. But before Simon decided to work full-time at Guerrilla Games, one of his major previous job roles was actually working as an online gameplay director at Eidos Montreal. And as it further iterates on his LinkedIn profile, he did end up working for Eidos for nearly a whole year, starting in March of 2017 and ending in February of 2018. And as you would expect from that job title, his main role was actually working as an online gameplay director, specifically for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. However, as you can see on the right side of that job posting, it did state that the multiplayer element for the game has now since been cancelled. So for any of you out there who decided to fully believe Square Enix's statements about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy at face value during its reveal within E3 2021, this essentially completely debunks that in more ways than one. Now, even though we don't exactly know for sure what specific type of multiplayer component Eidos was planning to include for Guardians of the Galaxy, we do know at the very least that it wasn't planned from the very start of development to be a completely single-player experience, similar to previous superhero games like that of the Batman Arkham franchise from Rocksteady, and of course the Spider-Man franchise from Insomniac Games. However, just like it was previously leaked all the way back in 2017 that Eidos was in fact working on a AAA Guardians game during the initial announcement of the Marvel and Square Enix partnership, we did have a small fledgling of an idea as to what exact type of game Guardians was shaping out to become, given the current stance that Square Enix decided to take for Marvel's Avengers, where of course that game ended up being a massive online live service game in a similar style to that of Anthem or The Division. But as the WCCF Tech article goes on to describe, which does analyze some rather intriguing information, is that the other news tidbit is that before rejoining Guerrilla, LaRouche did a stint at Eidos Montreal, working on the recently revealed Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game. Even more interesting is that LaRouche was the online gameplay director for that game's multiplayer, which has now been cancelled as Square Enix officially stated it will be a single-player only game, with no DLCs or microtransactions to speak of either. But there were indeed rumors that Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy was a live service game akin to Marvel's Avengers at some point. But that clearly changed at some point during the development. So yes, that is the exact news that we were first hinted towards during the initial reveal of the Square Enix and Marvel partnership in 2017, with the leak that Guardians of the Galaxy was being developed by Eidos Montreal. Whereas instead of being a single-player focused experience, it was pretty much leaked to be Avengers in space, which would in short completely ruin the insanely immersive experiences that we do know from these incredible AAA superhero games. And as a sidebar, I just personally don't understand who is making these decisions within these developer and publisher studios to create these massively popular superhero IPs and crafting them into primarily cooperative experiences. For example, we do know that both massive upcoming DC superhero games with that of Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League are both going to incorporate a cooperative element in one way or another. Where Gotham Knights is going to be a 2-player cooperative experience, and it does seem like as of right now that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to be a 4-player co-op experience, and possibly with potential live service elements just like what we previously received with Marvel's Avengers. And we all know how that game turned out. As I've said previously, I personally believe that the only way that these massive superhero IPs can succeed in the gaming spectrum is specifically making them a fully narrative-driven single-player experience. That way, it allows the developers to fully flesh out an entire character's moveset without trying to branch out their several resources to make every single character in the game feel different, and just allow for the player themselves to become even more immersed in the game by playing as that one particular character and the story that they are going through. And while I'm sure there are quite a lot of people out there who are still upset about the fact that we're only going to be able to play as Star-Lord within the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game, I still think that this is a major step in the right direction compared to what we were previously going to get given these developer statements and just seeing exactly how Avengers turned out. So in my eyes, I definitely think that Eidos Montreal certainly avoided a massive mistake that would have surely cost them the entire potential as to what exact type of experience Guardians of the Galaxy may end up being. Still, we're just gonna have to wait and see as to how exactly Guardians turns out by the time it does release in October of this year. But with all that said, everyone, that's the video that I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think about this news, knowing that Guardians of the Galaxy may have ended up in a similar situation like what we're currently seeing with Marvel's Avengers? Do you think that a fully single-player experience for the Guardians is the right way to go, or are you someone who does actually thoroughly enjoy the Avengers game and just would like to have seen that but for the Guardians instead? Feel free to let me know every single one of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Guardians of the Galaxy videos like this in the future. And until next time, peace out.